Welcome back to the Ghost and Jokes podcast. This is your boy Malcolm. Some of you call me holadociouss. They used to call me Big Papa Pump. They used to call me what else they used to call me? Honestly, no one used to call me Big Papa Pump. I used to call myself Big Papa Pump. But anyway, welcome back to another episode. And first of all, we reached a new country. I want to say that Aruba. I've never been to Aruba. I don't even know what Aruba looks like, but apparently uh the podcast got a click or a few clicks out there. So hopefully they come back to this episode. And usually I like to start off by talking about, a few movies that I've watched. The most recent scary movie I've watched is Tarot. And I think the main me and my girlfriend went to see the Tarot movie. And she's really into that shit. I've never been into it until recently. You know, I've talked about it before. You know what goes on. But I think the main thing I realized when I watched the movie is I've been pronouncing that shit wrong. I've been pronouncing the T at the at the end of the word. I've been saying tarot. No one ever bothered to correct me. I've been saying tarot. They were saying tarot the whole movie. I'm like, bro, I've been saying tarot this whole time. Nobody said anything. So yeah, I've been pronouncing it wrong. So it's tarot. As far as the movie goes, it was really a basic horror movie. It wasn't anything special about it. I do think the monsters in the movie looked pretty damn cool, but it was the same old recipe for horror movies. And I came on the last podcast, I came on the show, and I said that there was probably going to be an old lady in the movie that the main characters go to. I'm too good at this. I'm too good at this. I said there was going to be an old lady in the movie that the main characters go to and like for help. And the old lady ends up helping them. I don't want to spoil it. I don't know who's seen it, but cover your ears, damn it. Uh, I said there was going to be an old lady that the main characters go to and like for help, and then she helps them, and she ends up getting a grueling death. So she basically that's what the old lady in these horror movies do. The minute they help the main character, they are sacrificing their soul because it's usually them that understands what's happening because they've been through it before. Those are the characters. That's why I feel like the old ladies in horror movies are so important to the story. People don't realize it. They're so important to what's going on because they usually have the solution to what's happening. And and like I said, they're gonna die because of it, but they just saved a bunch of lives. So the question is, what would you do in if you were in her shoes? If you were in that old lady's shoes and a group of kids, well, not kids, a group of people that were going through some shit and they needed a solution, and that led them to you, and you knew you can help them, but you were going to end up getting murdered in the most brutalizing way. Would you do it? Would you help? And like, if you knew it would stop a lot of people, it would save a lot of people's lives. Malcolm, what would you do if you were in that situation? I asked myself. If I was an old man, all of a sudden I got a knock on the door. We need your help. Oh, by the way, this happened in Scream 5. Oh my goodness. How can I forget? The exact same thing happened in Scream 5 with Dewey. Dewey was minding his business in Scream 5. He was ducked off. He wasn't bothering anybody. And then the main characters went to his house and asked him for help. And what happened to Dewey in the same movie? He got stabbed to death. He helped them out. He ended up getting stabbed to death. So no, I wouldn't help. Y'all got to figure that shit out. If I was Dewey, let me rephrase that. If I was Dewey, if I was in his shoes, I wouldn't have helped. I would have been like, man, that's y'all got to figure that shit out. I've been through this. I had to deal with this shit 4 times. Dewey almost died in Scream 2, and he could barely. He had that little fucked up walk in Scream 3 from the effects from Scream 2. I think he actually almost died in Scream 1 too. Or was it Scream 3? Wait, I know for sure he almost died in Scream 2. They took him out in an ambulance. At the end, they showed him alive. Um, no, Scream 3. Scream 3, he was good. Yeah. Scream 3, he was good. Him and Gail got married at the end of Scream 3. Scream 4, he got beat with that pan. Yeah, he got a pretty bad beating in Scream 4 as well. And then Scream 5, that was the end of it. Like I said, I feel like if they would have never went to his house asking him for help, he would have still been alive. So no, if I was in Dewey's shoes, I probably would have said, "Y'all figure that shit out yourself." But if I was an old lady, like if I was older, like much older, and I could give something, I could help. I feel like Dewey still had a lot of life to live, bro. I don't know. I don't think he was that old. He still like he was trying to get Gail back, like he was trying to do his shit and still live his life post Scream. Like he had just got done. He had just got done dealing with the Ghostface killer for years, for decades, bro. And that's why I would have been like, man, I'm finally past that shit. I don't want to get involved. Y'all take care of yourself. If I was, older lady who hasn't really been through much of that shit, maybe once before, like they usually are. Um, but I don't know, man. I think at the end of the day, I wouldn't. I wouldn't be an asshole about it, but I'd be like, man, y'all got to figure that out. But anyway, in the movie, that's what happened. They went to the old lady, and it happened in Ouija too. This movie really reminded me of Ouija. They went to the old lady's house. She helped them. She gave them a solution, told them what to do, and she ended up getting brutally murdered. And like I said, it happened in Ouija. When the main character, the girl, went to find what's the woman's name from Insidious? Y'all know who I'm talking about. The woman from Insidious. I think she actually played in a Conjuring movie too. Yeah, she went to her for help in like a nursery home or something like that. And you know, she ended up getting cooked. Actually, I don't think she died in we did she? She might have made it. Or maybe not. I can't really remember. I only watched that movie like once. But anyway, that's what happened in Tarot, basically. And I called it. I called it, man. I called it. I said I knew that shit was gonna happen. It happens in most horror movies. Them old people just be minding their business, bro. Then all of a sudden they gotta deal with some shit because of something that happened in their past, and they the only ones that know the solution. So they gotta sacrifice their soul in order to save everybody, which is a very heroic move. But I'm not a hero. Boy, I would have closed that door in their face. They were like, man, I done been through this shit already. Y'all figure it out just like I did. Y'all got it. But I ain't trying to sound like an asshole. That's what I would have did if I was in those shoes. And also this weekend, we will be watching The Strangers. Now, you know, I've watched The Strangers Pray at Night and I loved it. I love The Strangers Pray at Night. Even though the main girl was like one of the worst final girls in horror movie history. Uh but the movie was actually pretty good. I enjoyed it. I recently kind of sort of watched the original Strangers. It was kind of on as background noise, and I would look up at it, so I don't really know what the fuck was going on. But I'm excited to go see what's up with this new Strangers movie. This is just chapter one. There's going to be a chapter two, so that's the move this weekend, and I will let you guys know how I felt about that movie. Most likely on the next podcast. And I'm excited because we got some good horror movies coming up this summer, dog. It's about to get lit. We got Long Legs. They showed the preview for Long Legs during Tarot. Um, Maybe you want to watch it, maybe you don't. FBI agent Lee Harker is assigned to an unsolved serial killer case that takes an unexpected turn, revealing evidence of the occult. Harker discovers a personal connection to the killer and must stop him before he strikes again. I don't know. I saw the preview and I was like, we looked at each other and was like, yeah, we might have to go see that shit. Also, Maxine is coming out this summer, huh? Is it? Maxine's supposed to be dropping. Yup, Maxine drops this year, this summer. And if you watch, Maxine is a part of the X movies. I'm pretty sure the order goes Pearl, X, and then Maxine. Yeah, Pearl's the first one. X is the 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 sequel after Pearl, and then Maxine picks up where X leaves off. Yes, so it's Pearl, X, and then Maxine. I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. And The trailer for that one looked better than the last two. Um, I think Pearl wasn't as good as X. X just had an unusual amount of porn, but the main characters are porn stars. That's what do you expect? But other than that, because I feel like sex in horror movies is just you asking to get murked. You are asking to get. When have people clapped cheeks in horror movies and survived? Who clapped cheeks in horror movies and survived? You ever seen Freddy versus Jason? Freddy versus Jason, dude clapped cheeks, and next thing you know, he is a part of the mattress. Jason sliced his ass. You never have sex in horror movies, especially serial killer horror movies. I feel like they be hearing that shit. Like they attracted to that shit. Like they know when somebody getting their cheeks clapped. Oh, I got my next victims. Worst part about that is you got to die naked. But no, it's not a good idea. So damn near everybody in X died. Yeah, except the one that didn't have sex. I think that's true. No, she did. I can't remember. But damn near everybody in X died except Maxine. And it picks off Maxine. But yeah, you know the moral of the story. Don't look back. And I'm about to give y'all some classified information right now. How to survive a horror movie. Don't look back when you're running. Try not to fall down if you can. I feel like sometimes people just fall anyway. Just to make shit more dramatic. Uh don't look back. Don't fall. Don't do drugs. And don't have sex. And if you can't do all of that, then you don't deserve to survive the horror movie. Apparently, you cannot be black either. I have not seen many black guys survive. They usually just throw black guys in horror movies as the comedic timing or the muscle, and they end up putting up a fight, but they don't usually survive. The Mist? No, not the Mist. Oh, by the way, the Mist is one of the worst endings to a horror movie ever. By the way, I didn't mean to say that though. I think it was the Fog. It was the Fog. A black guy did survive in that one. DJ D Ray. Yeah. Or was it the Fog or was it the ship or the Fog ship? It was something like that. He survived. Um, I can't really think of other many. I'm pretty sure I'll think of some later, but at the moment I can't really think of many horror movies that the black guy did survive or the black character in general. Um, but anyway, that's just a few rules. If you find yourself in the middle of a slasher movie and you want to survive, don't have sex, don't hit that blunt, and if you are running, do not turn around to look back. The second you turn around, you're gonna turn back around and hit a tree or some shit. Especially if you're in the woods. I feel like if you're in the woods, you should know better. Do not turn around. Even if you don't see trees in your path before you turn around, them shits can pop out within a blink of an eye. So yeah, there you go. I'm looking forward to those. Long Legs, Maxine, that's what's coming out. The Strangers is happening this weekend. The Watchers is coming out this year too. What they talking about with that? A 28-year-old artist gets stranded in an expansive, untouched forest in Western Ireland. Oh, you can stop right there. That shit sounds scary. An untouched forest. Oh, it's touched by something. In Ireland, finding shelter, she unknowingly becomes trapped alongside three strangers who are stalked by mysterious creatures every night. Well, I'd be mad as hell if I got caught up in that shit. And they doing another Winnie the Pooh movie. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. Wait, didn't that drop already? No, that dropped. That dropped. Wait, so did the Watchers drop already? I'm pretty sure it did. But yeah, 2024 is shaping up to be a pretty good year for horror movies. There's still a few that I did say I was going to watch that I haven't gotten to yet. That I will get to eventually, probably when they start streaming, like the First Omen and Immaculate. Those are two that When they start streaming, I'm gonna watch them. I just wasn't excited enough to go see them in theaters. Also, A Quiet Place Day One, and I'm excited that they actually giving us some backstory on that franchise. Oh, yo, In a Violent Nature. Okay, so that's another movie. So this movie is unique because it takes place from the killer's POV. We don't see horror movies like that. Have we ever seen a horror movie like that where the entire movie is the killer's point of view? I don't think we've ever seen that. I'm excited about that. I need to know where that's streaming. Is it going to hit theater? Oh, in theaters May 31st. It's in theaters May 31st. In a Violent Nature. And that's something different because, like I said, we don't really see that again. So I'm not exactly sure how many theaters it's going to be in. But if it's in my local theater, oh, you best to believe we pulling up. We're going to pull up to that joint and we're going to watch that because, like I said, we never really seen no shit like that before. So I'm excited. So, yeah, that's what's going on. We got a few good horror movies coming up. Long Legs and Maxine are the two main ones on my list. So we will see how that goes. And I'm excited. Also, in this episode, we're going to talk about the Dakota. If you guys know John Lennon, we're going to talk about where Rosemary's Baby was born. You might have seen the movie. I haven't. But we're going to talk about that a little later on in the episode. But now, moving on from horror movies, the NBA playoffs is actually happening right now, and it's almost over. We are down to the final four teams in the NBA playoffs. We are down to the Dallas Mavericks, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Boston Celtics, and the Indiana Pacers. Celtics and the Pacers play tonight. I'm gonna make my finals prediction. I'll make a finals prediction after every round because it changes depending on who wins. So my finals prediction is gonna be Boston and Dallas. Yep. It's gonna be the Celtics and the Mavericks. And that's the finals I want to see because I want to see how they gonna treat Kyrie. They're gonna treat that man like shit. They're gonna treat that man like Oscar from Elmo. You know Oscar, you remember Oscar, the one that lives in a trash can and everybody was always talking shit about him, even though he already lives in a trash can. Terrible. So yeah, that's my finals prediction. Celtics and the Mavericks, baby. But I wouldn't be mad if the Timberwolves go. I don't give a damn about the Pacers. Like, if they make it, good for them. But I don't really give a damn. I'm ready for NFL season to start. I need my Ravens to win a Super Bowl. And I feel like I say this No, I didn't say it the last few years. I said it last year. But before that, I hadn't been saying it. I think we're going to win the Super Bowl next year. I'm going to keep saying it. Speaking of the NFL, an NFL linebacker found an iguana in his toilet. Throw the whole toilet away at that point. Imagine if he didn't look before he sat down and take a dump. Like, imagine if his stomach was rumbling and he had to run to the bathroom. You ever seen White Chicks? There was a scene in White Chicks where he was lactose intolerant, but he ate some cheese and he didn't know it had cheese in it. And he was running to the bathroom. Now, White Chicks, it was a black guy dressed up as a white girl. So he went to the girl's bathroom and he pushed the woman out the way and he was like, "Move, bitch." And he went into the stall and started dropping bombs. Now, imagine if it was like that, if he was in that type of situation and he didn't look and the iguana was just right under his ass cheeks. I don't know if iguanas bite. I don't know if it would have licked him or what. That shit is scary to think about, bro, because I looked at the video. It was a big ass iguana in this man's toilet. I guess I would rather an iguana over a snake. No, I'm probably moving. I would never use that. I would never shit in that toilet again if I went in my bathroom and it was a snake sitting in there. Nah, y'all gotta disinfect, tear the whole apartment down and rebuild it again, and then maybe. But nah, that's some Florida. That's some stuff you see in Florida, bro, or Australia. That's some type of shit you see in Australia, bro. I don't see how people live comfortably in Australia with all that shit they got running around out there. I'm pretty sure it's shit that we never even heard of out here that's running around out there in Australia. Nope, y'all can keep that. I'm good. You see how big them kangaroos are? Like kangaroos in Australia look like they actually have gym memberships. That's crazy. They so huge, bro. Nah, fuck that. Now, usually I'm pretty confident when I say like if I'm gonna fight somebody, I'm pretty confident that I'm gonna win because I know how to fight. I can fight for sure. But I feel like a kangaroo in Australia whipped the hell out of me. I feel like that kangaroo whipped my ass. Just saying, they're that big. If you haven't seen them, Google it, then you'll know. Also, if you want to tune into the gaming channel is holadociouss with two S's at the end. Right now, I'm playing the Quarry. Like I said before, I'm still playing the Quarry, and my goal while playing the Quarry is to keep everyone alive. Now, I do have a death rewind feature that if someone dies, you can bring them back. You can do that 3 times. I haven't had to use one yet, but Nick just got bit in the woods, and right now the werewolves are starting to come out. And I think it's crazy because all this shit started because one guy wanted an extra night with a girl that was there. Come on, bro. Is it that serious to where you gotta sabotage the car and take a plug out to where you guys gotta stay overnight in the woods again? Bullshit, bro. You're not a real friend because you just thinking about yourself. His name is Jacob. That's the character. This man wanted to stay one more night with the girl that he had been hooking up with. And the girl even said that it was just supposed to be hookups, bro. He think they dating. Like, how you think that y'all dating, but she doesn't? What kind of shit is that? But anyway, he took something out the car. It didn't start. And the cop who knows something is in the woods, knows something is going on, was like, all right, y'all get back inside. I'm haul ass and don't come outside. Which I've said this before. I don't understand why he didn't just tell them werewolves come out at night. Why not just tell them that? That way they actually stay inside. You can't beat around the bush with kids, with teenagers. You can't do that because they're not going to listen. They're going to go outside anyway. And they did. They never even debated staying inside. As soon as the cop pulled off, he was like, "Oh, we about to party in these woods, bro." Like, if I was the cop, I would have straight up said, "Bro, there's werewolves that come out. There's werewolves that come out at night. Stay inside. Don't go inside." Like, I feel like that would have been much more effective in saving their lives, but he didn't. And coincidentally, the cop was Dewey from Scream. David Arquette. That's the cop in the game. David Arquette, and he dipped. And now they got to stay there another night, and they ended up having a campfire. They're playing truth or dare. So they play truth or dare. They dare each other to kiss, and one kiss goes too far. I feel like Jacob is the reason a lot of this shit is happening. Jacob is the reason a lot of bad stuff is happening. First of all, he was the reason that they had to stay there in the first place. Second of all, he's the reason that they split up in the woods because the girl that he sabotaged the car for to stay with one more night. She took a dare, and they dared her to kiss, to choose either Jacob or Nick. Nick is the other guy that's there, but Nick is with Abigail, kind of, sort of. And Abigail and Emma are supposed to be friends. So they asked Emma, I think her name's Emma. They asked Emma, okay, you either got to kiss Jacob or Nick. And Jacob was like, oh, I'm sorry, Nick. She's obviously going to pick me. Cut that man off, and she was like, I choose Nick. Everybody got quiet. So she goes over to Nick, and they don't just kiss, they make out. Like, it's a long, like, sloppy makeout session. And then Jacob finally snaps. He was like, guys. He goes crazy, and they stop kissing. And then Abigail, which is supposed to be Emma's friend, but she likes Nick. Her and Nick have been hitting it off, and she thinks they about to start dating. She gets up and walks off. Well, actually, maybe that wasn't because of Jacob. That was Emma's fault. So she gets up, she storms off by herself. So now she's alone in the woods. Jacob gets pissed off. He storms off by himself. Now he's alone in the woods. Emma goes to find Abigail. So now she's alone in the woods looking for Abigail. And Nick goes to find, wait, no, I got it fucked up. I got it messed up. Emma goes to find Jacob. So now she's alone in the woods looking for Jacob. And Nick goes to find Abigail. So now he's alone looking for Abigail. So now that's 4 people on their own right now. And then you got 3 people at the camp by themselves. So now everybody split up. Like, all you had to do was not play truth or dare. All y'all had to do was be smart about it. But no. So right now I'm on the part where Nick just got bit by a werewolf. Uh, so we're trying to help him out, and then Jacob is on his own. So Jacob went back to the campsite because everybody else is at the campsite. There was like three people at the campsite, and they got a gun. So Jacob goes back to the campsite because he needs to go find Abigail because he met up with her, but they split up. Something happened, and he walked off. So he goes back to the campsite. He tries to take the gun from Ryan. Ryan's is one of the other guys there. He tries to take the gun, and I'm the one that has to make the decision if I want to give Jacob the gun. If I want to give Jacob the gun that Ryan has. I was like, no, you're not getting the gun, bro. First of all, you're the reason we're here in the first place. Second of all, we need the gun because Nick just got bit. We got to protect him. So yes, I elected to keep the gun, and I sent Jacob back out there without anything. You got to figure that shit out. You dug your hole. You gotta lay in it, bro. You got to figure it out. Go find Emma. And he didn't. He ended up not taking the gun. He didn't have a choice. So now we got the gun at the camp, and we trying to help Nick. And Jacob's out there on his own, looking for Emma. But the thing is, Emma not looking for him. She is, because she was looking for him at one point, but she found him. But she not worried about him right now. She doing her own thing. And Jacob's just out there wandering around. And he doesn't have a gun. And I had to make another decision. So Ryan and another one of the guys that, it seemed like they like each other. They got a gun. They got two guns. And Brenda Song, I think her character's name is Caitlin, but I'm gonna just say Brenda. I'm gonna just say, yeah, Caitlin. Caitlin is there with Abigail and Nick. So it's Caitlin, Abigail, and Nick. They're trying to protect Nick, and they don't have a gun. And then there's Ryan and the other guy. They got two guns. Two guns is better than one, but I had to make a decision. Do I keep two guns? Because they have to go out. They're going outside. So, some people would think it's smarter to have two guns if you're going outside. And if you're inside, you think you're safe. You don't need a gun. Bullshit. So I made that decision to give one of the guns to Caitlin. So now they got a gun inside. And Ryan has a gun outside with the other guy. I can't remember his name, but they got a gun outside. The only people that don't have a gun is Jacob and Emma. But that's kind of where I'm at right now in the game. Part 5 is going to be dropping soon. I'm going to make part 5 a little longer. And I like the game. I think there's 10 chapters. I'm on chapter 4 right now, I think. So I still got a lot to play. But that's why I'm at. I've had to make some difficult decisions. And the thing is, you got to make these decisions like split, like fast, because they're running. Like you have to make decisions while they're running. Do you want to take a shortcut or do you want to stay on the path? You got to figure that shit out quick. And obviously, I'm going to pick a shortcut. But if you pick the shortcut, you have to play like mini games in between. And if you mess up, then he gonna fall down or some shit, and there's a chance that he's gonna get caught. But that's kind of what I'm doing right now. I'm taking some shortcuts. I'm trying to get everybody safe because, like I said, my goal is to keep everyone alive. And I'm also looking for tarot cards. Funny enough, that's what we started the show talking about. And I have to find tarot cards to bring to the hag of Hackett's Quarry, which I'm assuming is that old lady. There's an old lady after every chapter that you go to. And if you find her tarot cards, she helps you out. Like she can give you a hint of something that's going to happen in the future so you can try to prevent it or something like that. But you have to find those cards. So that's like some little side missions in between that you can do between the stories is look for those tarot cards. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm still pretty early in the game. It feels like a lot of stuff has happened, but I'm still pretty early, I'm not that deep into it. I'm not even on the back half of it. So we'll see because there's werewolves in the woods right now, and there's these big hillbillies. But the hillbillies seem kind of harmless. Jacob got caught by a hillbilly, and all the hillbilly did was smear blood on him, which is actually werewolf repellent. So he helped them out. So I don't think those guys have any bad intentions. I don't think we have to worry about them. It's the werewolves we got to worry. And I don't. These things don't even look like typical werewolves. They look like demon werewolves. Like you get a close up shot, they ugly as hell. They scary as hell. It's like something you see during sleep paralysis. I ain't even bullshitting. This is something you see during sleep paralysis. That's how evil they look. And they running around the woods. No telling how many it is. Honestly, it could be humans that turned into werewolves. It could be somebody they know, and that's where I think Nick is headed right now. I think Nick is headed because I think he got bit in the leg, and one of the guys was like, "Let's amputate his leg." What would you do in that situation, bro? Like if your one of your friends got bit by a werewolf and you saw it was starting to spread, but you wasn't sure if it was spread or not. That's what it looks like. And you didn't want to take chances, so maybe you amputate it, or maybe you take that chance and just let him fight through it and hope he don't die. If it was me, I'm no doctor. So I'm probably gonna let him try to fight through it, to be honest with you. Because if I cut his leg off and I didn't have to, boy, that'll be some shit. I know if you cut my leg off and you didn't have to, I'm gonna whoop your ass. I'm gonna whoop your ass on one leg. Cause bro, you just cut my leg off, bro. You didn't even have to. And shit not even spreading. But like I said, I'm no doctor. So we shall see what happened. I think it's getting really interesting. And I think it's a game that if you like horror movies and you like scary movies, you should play. There's also a movie version of it. Like you can just watch it. You don't even have to play. You can watch it. You can let the characters make the decisions by themselves and let them play it and let them do it. So I love those type of games. And hopefully they do something else like that. Can we get a Quarry Part 2? After I finish this one, I want something else like that to play. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. So if you want to tune into the gaming channel, that's what's going on the Quarry right now. But I'm not just playing the Quarry. I'm playing VR games as well. I'm playing Resist. Resist is a VR game where you go swinging through the city like Spider-Man and you fight big ass robots. That's another game I'm playing right now on the channel. And unfortunately, I can't really play Blair Witch on VR anymore. I would love to because those videos did pretty good when I was doing them. But I got stuck on a mission and I even looked up YouTube tutorials to see how the hell I can even, you know, get past it. And I can't. I don't know if it's like a glitch or whatever, but I can't get past this one mission. And it's not that I don't know how to do it. It's just something's missing. Something in the game is missing on VR. And I don't know what it is. So maybe I'll try to figure that out. But nah, that's those are the two main games I'm playing right now. Resist on VR and the Quarry. So tune in. It's a good time. Got some good commentary in it. You might like it. Now we move on to where Rosemary's Baby was born, the Dakota. Now, the Dakota is an apartment building in New York City, and it's where former musician songwriter John Lennon lived. And it's also where he was murdered. Yes, he was shot right outside the apartment building, right across the street. And if you don't know who John Lennon is, he was the lead. He was a singer-songwriter of one of the most popular bands ever, the Beatles. I know you've heard of the Beatles. Everyone has had to hear of the Beatles. I've never heard a Beatles song, but I know them. I know them. So I might have heard a Beatles song before, but just didn't know it was them. But anyway, let's dive into it. When John Lennon and Yoko Ono moved into the Dakota on 72nd Street and Central Park West in 1973, they were aware the building was rumored to be haunted. So they hired a medium to conduct a seance in their seventh floor apartment and reached Jesse Ryan, the recently departed wife of Dirty Dozen actor Robert Ryan, who sold them the unit. So they knew it was haunted and they still moved in. Typical horror movie type shit. Anyway, Jessie promptly announced that she intended to stay in the couple's digs, which did not make the Ryans' daughter Lisa happy. If my mother's ghost belongs anywhere, she told Ono, it's here with me. Most of the Dakota's spirits don't belong here, of course. but they seem to have been in residence since the building was completed in 1884. Built for Singer sewing machine president Edward S. Clark in Manhattan's then rural Upper West Side, the German Renaissance revival structure was reportedly called the Dakota because its location was as remote as Dakota Territory. So this apartment building is kind of ducked off. Like they said, it's remote, supposedly haunted, and now John Lennon lives there, one of the most popular guys at that time. Like, what are you expecting to happen? Somebody gonna be trying to find that man. Uh, and then it says, over time, the Dakota's sinister reputation has grown along with its environs. This was, after all, where Lennon was murdered in 1980. Ono, meanwhile, still lives there. Damn. I feel like if my roommate gets shot across the street, I'm moving. I'm gonna just keep it a bean. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm moving. Especially if you thought that the place was already haunted. Nah. Him getting my roommate getting shot and murdered in cold blood would have been the last straw. I would have dipped. I probably would have left New York. Would have left the whole state. Fuck all that. Ono, meanwhile, still lives there. And Ira Levine used it as the setting for his classic 1967 novel, Rosemary's Baby. Though the novelist called it the Black Branford, he drew on the Dakota's dark mojo for inspiration. Over the years, one character said, the Branford has had far more than its share of ugly and unsavory happenings. In Levine's world, these include cannibalism, witchcraft, Satanism, and murder. He may well have added the real life spirit of a beautiful blonde girl in a yellow dress. So, first of all, cannibalism, witchcraft, Satanism, that's all shit that will get you hung. Especially witchcraft. We talked about that before. And Satanism and black magic and stuff like that. Cannibalism is some different type of stuff. If you eating other people, that's gross. I don't even know how else to put it. Like, I know we eat animals and shit, but that's like a tiger eating another tiger or a chicken eating another chicken. Can't say I blame the chicken for eating the chicken, but it's still cannibalism if you look at it that way. Yeah. Some have called her the house ghost, others a bad omen. It's my birthday, she allegedly said to a painter who later fell to his death. That's real creepy. Others have seen the ghost of a man with the face of a small boy. That's creepy. Right now I'm picturing Jeepers Creepers 2. Jeepers Creepers 2. When Jeepers Creepers wing was stuck inside the bus. And for some reason, I don't understand why the guy did this. So Jeepers Creepers, the creeper falls onto the bus and his wing falls inside the bus. Now, all you have to do is go under it and get to the other side of the bus and you free. One guy decides to hold the wing up and mock it. This is exactly what he said. He said, this thing looks like a big fucking roll of toilet paper or something like that. And he was holding up playing with it. And he was bro. The creeper closed that wing so quick and took this man's head off. That's not even the creepy part. The wing took this man's head off, and Jeepers Creep. You could see the head moving. Like he ate the head, and you could see the head moving in the stomach, and it comes up because at this point the creeper's head had been cut off because one of the girls stabbed it with a sword or some kind of spear or something like that, and it put a hole in his head. So Jeepers Creepers just took his whole head off and threw it. Fuck it. Ain't no point now. And so he eats one of the kids' heads and he regurgitates it. And then he turns it into a brand new head. That's what I'm picturing right now. It said the man with the face of a small boy and a mysterious fire started inside writer Rex's Reed's apartment. I thought, welcome to the Dakota, he later said, Stephen Birmingham in Life of the Dakota. Here, elevators move on their own. Footsteps are heard where no mortal walks. Rumbling sound through the walls, and the past seems to coexist with the present. A chandelier was seen through the window of one resident's apartment as he walked to the building. Despite the fact he had no chandelier, only the remains of one. Many phenomena seem to emanate from the basement, including the so-called man with a wig, who is known for taking off his wig and shaking it angrily. What the hell he do that for? In Levine's novel, Rosemary calls the basement kind of creepy. So does singer Roberta Flack, a longtime resident who refuses to enter it. Now, Roberta's smart. Roberta's smart. This building has been occupied by a lot of strong people, she told Birmingham. They stay, they have memories. They come back. Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. So yeah, that's basically the story of the Dakota. It's where famous singer John Lennon was murdered. That's where he lived. It's where where Rosemary's Baby was born. You might have seen the movie or read the novel. And like I said this on the last episode. These stories that we read kind of repeat. It's always like we hear spirits at night, we hear footsteps at night, and it's always some creepy stuff. Like you would be surprised how many of these places are out there in the world. We're just reading mostly about the United States, but there's some in a bunch of different. Like on the last episode, we read about one in India. We read about one in China, Canada. They're everywhere. Places like this that we don't know about, and I'm pretty sure there's many more that we probably won't ever find out. It's kind of like the ocean. There's a lot of shit at the bottom of the ocean that we don't know about yet. We haven't explored it, and that's what I think the beauty of it is. I think we should leave that shit a mystery. Some things, they're best remain a mystery. If you remain a mystery, and I think it's one of my favorite things when we read about this stuff is that I've never heard of most of these things before until I read about it. So I'm finding this stuff out at the same time you guys are finding it out, and I think the Dakota is one of those things because when you have like a building or a residence or something like that that a famous person was murdered in, somebody that the whole world knew about, you know, it's kind of the same thing with the Cecil Hotel. Cecil Hotel. We had a whole episode on the Cecil Hotel, at least Lamb, that whole case. And I wouldn't visit those. I wouldn't stay in those places. I'd take a tour, a quick tour, make that about 20, 25 minutes and let's get the hell out of here. But it's not a place I would stay at. Like if I moved to New York, I'm automatically scratching the Dakota off my list. You know what I mean? It's not somewhere I would stay. But people still live there. The guy that lived with John Lennon still lives there from my understanding. So, things back in the day like cannibalism, witchcraft, Satanism, and murder and black magic and all that stuff. I think if I had to pick one that was the worst, was probably witchcraft. They didn't play around with that shit. Murder and Satanism sound like the worst, but I think people got the worst for studying witchcraft. I think they got the worst deaths studying witchcraft. People were not bullshitting about that. And I want to do another episode on that. I want to talk about the Salem witch trials. Bro, I'm going to do that. Yes, an idea just happened live. I'm going to do a whole episode on the Salem witch trials. And we're going to talk about witchcraft because we read about that in English class. We read about a lot of stuff in English class. We read a lot of books, watched a lot of movies. By the way, we did watch a movie in English class. It was the first movie to ever make me cry. It was called A Walk to Remember. A Walk to Remember to this day remains the only movie to make me shed a tear. Remember the Titans came close, but A Walk to Remember kind of hit me in the feels a lot. So we watched that in English class, and I had to have some tissue on side of me. Your boy was going through it. I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it. Even if I watched it today, bro, I still don't think I wouldn't cry, but I know it would be some sad shit. Even if I rewatched it, for some reason I have it on DVD, and it's funny because my homeboy was looking at my movies one day, and I went to school with him, and I think it was Marquez. It was Marquez. When I was living in the Woodlands, Marquez came over. He was looking at my movies because me and him was in the same class when we watched that movie together in high school, and he knew I was crying. He was there, and he brought it up. He was like, "Bro, didn't you cry when we watched that movie in school?" I was like, yeah. Then he was like, why do you have it on DVD? I was like, bro, I don't know. I have it. I do have the DVD. Yes. I don't know. I have it. I haven't. I think I've rewatched it once before. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. It's just sad as hell. I don't think I'd watch it again at this point, but I do have it on DVD. So it's there if I do decide I want to go that route. Well, we've come to the end of this episode of Ghosts and Jokes, and I feel like these episodes really fly by because I get into what I'm talking about and I enjoy it. And I really appreciate you guys listening to the end. Shout out to Aruba. Shout out to India. Shout out to the United Kingdom. Shout out to all the other countries that I've gotten clicks in. I really appreciate the support. And I will see you guys for the next episode where we will talk about another haunted place in the world to visit or to read about. We'll go take a dive into it. I'll let you guys know how I feel about the Strangers movie that I'm going to go see this weekend. So that's it. Thank you guys for listening. Boy, Malcolm's out of here.